It's good once again to come back into God's house tonight. And there is truly room in God's kingdom for the small things that we can do. I was asking several of you before services to define the word one. What is one? And I think Randy wins the prize tonight. It's the second digit of our numeric system. I guess the first one is 0, right, Randy? You know. The one. If I ask a husband, and is your wife the one? You better say yes or she is. You think about it. You wives, the husband, the one. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to look at that statement, and it's kind of it's an Andy lesson, so just bear with me. I apologize for not having the charts up. We were having some computer issues between the networks and this PowerPoint. I did not realize it this morning, but apparently behind my back, some of the charts went off, and I didn't know they were gone. So, I did not see that they went off, and I tried to work on it this afternoon, and we're having some equipment issues, I think. So we'll get that fixed in the week. So just bear with me in that. But the one. Are you the one? A grain of sand among the masses of people? Are you the one that stands out? In this morning's Bible class, we talked about the man Moses. And I've said before, Moses is a character of mine that I like to look at and I look to think about. But I want you to think about some of the things that the Bible characters of the Old. We're going to look at Bible characters tonight. And we're going to show you that in their circumstances, they were the one. They were the one to make a difference. They were the one to stand out. We're talking about one, the uniqueness of the individual. Many people today talk about, everything the church can do, the individual can do, and vice versa. I want you to think about the one. I am the one that Jesus died on Calvary for. I am the one that obeyed the gospel. I am the one that will go to heaven. The uniqueness of it. Every one of us is unique. As we just began class tonight, or just began services tonight, talking about I am the only Andy. Thank goodness I am the only one. They broke the mold. The uniqueness of it. I am the one. The power of one. We think about the word being used in Ephesians, the 4th chapter. There is one body, one spirit, just as you're called, and one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. We understand that that's the uniqueness of those things. But I want to go back to the character study. Are you the Moses? You think about your characteristics of the man we studied in the Bible class this morning. Are you the Moses? The one that could lead the people? That could go down to Egypt? But grow up in a royal family? And then decide to leave it to serve God? I'm not going to preach the whole lesson. But I want you to think about Moses. Think about Noah. Genesis, the 6th chapter, and I believe verses 5 through 8. The text says, the loss of the wickedness of the world was totally, in the intent of the heart, was only evil. The Lord was sorry that he made man. He was going to destroy the world. But then Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah finding grace. The unmerited gift of God. Noah was one that finds grace. Can you and I be the one to enjoy grace? We sing songs like Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. We sing songs like His grace reaches me. We talk about grace. Are you the one that could be said, I found grace in the eyes of the Lord? Why did Noah find grace? Because he walked by faith. Not only did he walk by faith, he had served God. God knew him. And God recognized him. Noah found, you can read this account in Genesis, the 6th chapter. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Another one that I think about, and if I have to teach the class again, we may use him as a character study, is that of young David. David. He's another one of mine that I like to study. He was not perfect. He was not sinless by any stretch of the imagination. Burnell mentioned him in the class this morning. But you think about David, a young man. He goes out and he sees the people of God. He sees all the people the odds are against him. And I'm talking about 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter, verses 48, and then in that context. So it was when the Philistines rose and came and drew near to meet David. David heard and ran towards the army to meet the Philistines. David said, I'll be the one. The battle is the Lord's. The battle belongeth to God. I will be the one that goes out against Goliath. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not fighting Goliath. I've never seen Goliath in my life. I've never met a giant that was intended to do me harm. I've tackled some different things in my life. I've made some difficult decisions, and numerically, there's giants that we fight. But am I the one to say this battle belongs to the Lord? This battle is mine. David put his hands in his bag, he took out a stone and he slung it, and it struck Goliath in his forehead. Goliath fell to the earth. It says that David prevailed over the Philistines with a rock and a slingshot. What's the odds of that being successful? The battle belongeth to the Lord. I want you to see, why was David successful in that? Because he heard and he had faith in God. You think about David through his life. You read the Psalms. David was true. He was made king. He couldn't build the temple because there was much blood on his hand. David committed sin with Bathsheba. David was a man like us. But can I be the one David that says, I will fight the Lord's battle? I will step up and I will defend the truth. Think about the nature of it. You think about Queen Esther. Esther's another one that I like. And I just went through the Bible and picked out some characters that I like. Esther was the one who spoke up for the people before the king. You think about Esther, she was a Jewish. And she spoke up. She fell down at his feet. She implored him. And I'm in Esther chapter 8. She told him, and the king held to go to supper with Esther. Esther arose, stood before the king, and said, if it pleases the king, and I found favor in his sight, and thinks it's right to the king, I am pleased, let it be written to revoke the letters revised by Haman. She spoke up. Folks, we need that today. Paul said in Romans that we're not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. It's the power of God unto salvation. Sometimes when the gospel is attacked, when morality is attacked, when integrity is attacked, we need to be the one like Esther that will stand up and say, not so. Not so. We need to be able to endure. How can I endure? You think about it. You think about the most important one that ever lived. The Christ. Romans, the 5th chapter, verse 15. But the free gift is like the offense for everyone. But one man's offense is many died. Much more, the grace of God and the gift of the grace of the one man, Jesus, abounded to many. You think about Jesus. Jesus was marveled. He was tempted in all points as we are, yet without sin. Can I be the one to overcome temptation? Can I be one to be humbled as a sheep led to the slaughter? Can I be the one that has the prayer that Jesus prayed in John? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I'm asking you to think about the unique characters of others. Jesus is the one that made the difference in all of humanity. I'm not saying that we're all Jesus Christ. Don't take that point. But when you look at great Bible characters, David, Solomon, I'm feared that many times we're like the Jonah. We're the one that runs from God. And we know where it led Jonah. You know, many times we're like the one. You think about Joshua. The ones that lead the people of God around the wall of Jericho. Why did that wall fall down? You know, they must, those people, as they marched around Jericho, they must have caused an earthquake. No. The marching they didn't cause the earthquake. Joshua led the people of God, and he told them to do it exactly like that. You march 7 times around it. You blow on the ram's horn. God delivered it. They were the one that God recognized for service. They're the ones that God recognized as being unique in that area. Now, I want you to think about the one that can love. Now abideth faith, hope, and charity, or love. 1 Corinthians 13:13. If great love hath no man this, he let his life for sin. We preach sermons on love. Love covers a multitude of sins. We've all heard that sermon. What does it mean to be the one that loves unselfishly? What does it mean to be the one that loves sacrificially? What does it mean to be the one that loves, that overlooks the weaknesses, that says, I forgive you? Can you be the one to serve? You think about it. Go to Matthew the 10th chapter. Matthew chapter 10. We find a story that Jesus is using there. Matthew chapter 10, I believe it's in verse 42. And whoever gives one of these little ones only a cup of cold water. We just sang the song, there's room in God's kingdom for the things that you and I can do. Can we be the one to serve the one cup of water? Can we be the one person to cry the sympathizing tear? Can we be the one person to offer the word of encouragement? I am the one that can do these things. Can I be the Apostle Paul? No, I'm not Paul. I'm not saying that I am Paul. But you think about Mars Hill. I think about that story a lot. You and I watch today, we watch CNN or Fox News or NBC, and we see our morality being attacked. We go to work in the workplace, wherever we work at, and we hear people attack the marriage relationship, or we hear people attack religion, or we hear people attack this, or they attack that. Paul went into Mars Hill, and he said, you people are so superstitious. I beheld all the false gods when I came into your city. And I'm going to declare you the one true God. Paul made a difference because he took the opportunity to stand out on Mars Hill. We go into a situation and we see religious error being taught. We see religious discussions. And 9 times out of 10, we'll just keep our mouth shut. Can I be the one to speak up? You see where we're going? I am the one that can tell the lost humanity that Jesus Christ saves them. I can be the one to serve in this community as a Christian. I can be the one to discuss the Bible with others, as did Paul. You know, Matthew the 13th chapter and verse 3, I believe it is, he said, a sower went out to sow. Now here again, this is an Andy lesson. If we had to live a former's existence, thank God that we don't, but if you and I and our families had to live what we raised in the garden, we'd make sure that we planted peas and corn, and we'd learn to make cornmeal, and we'd plant some beans, and we'd plant some potatoes, and we'd have us a cow, and we'd learn how to milk the cow, you know, that type of existence. We'd make sure we did that because we're going to get cold and hungry in January. What about spiritually? Am I the one to plant the seeds of kindness? I am the one to plant the seeds of peace. I'm the one to plant the seeds of hospitality. A sower went out to sow, and some fell on the good ground, and some fell on the bad ground. And you can go read the Matthew 13th chapter. Which one are we? Are we the sower, or are we the stony ground? Do we sow enough spiritual seed to live a spiritual life through the wintertime? Now think about what we're saying there. The one that can sow. So many times we miss that. I think about Barnabas. Acts the 4th chapter. And this is one that we all can be. Every one of us can do this one. I can be the one to encourage. I can be the one to encourage. Barnabas, the name Barnabas means he was the encourager. I can encourage the weak. I can encourage the strong. I can encourage my brother. I can encourage the lost. I can encourage my family. I can encourage my coworkers. Folks, there's something we all can do in some small way. I can be the one, going back to like Moses, to lead the people of God. I did not get to finish that thought completely in the class this morning. The closing moments of the class, I made a statement that we need men in the church today like Moses that can lead. We need godly elders and godly deacons and godly men leading our congregations. Can I be the one that says, notice the qualification there, if a man desires the office of a bishop, he desires a good work. Can I be the one? Can I be the one to encourage men to step up? Can I be the one to encourage people to do the right thing? Can I be the one to make a difference? You think about those things. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that thought. That's the introduction to the lesson. I am the one with Christ who can find strength. Call it mathematics if you want to. 1 plus Christ equals strength. Philippians the 4th chapter, verse 13. What did Paul say? I can do all things through Christ Jesus, which strengtheneth me. When you and I are weak, when you and I need help, can I be the one that goes to Christ for my strength? He was tempted at all points as I am, yet without sin. Jesus is the strong one. Can I be the one to depend on? Andy plus Christ equals strength. Think about that statement. Many times we don't. Go back to the 17th chapter and verse 20. Matthew 17:20. So Jesus said to them, because of your unbelief, for surely I say to you, if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you would say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it would be moving, and it would be impossible for you. I take myself and I couple my strong faith, and things begin to happen. Me plus faith equals results. Now think about that statement. Noah plus faith equaled an ark. Moses plus faith equaled a dry Red Sea. Paul plus faith equaled assurances of a place called heaven. When we read about Bible characters, we need to learn what it means to, do I have the faith? You go read the roll call of faith in Hebrews the 11th chapter. By faith Abel, by faith Noah, by faith Sarah, by faith. Me, I am the one. I am the one that I'm accountable for. I am the one that can make a difference. I am the one that can make the decision. Will you be the one? I can couple my faith that is based on the Word of God. Romans 10:17. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. I am the one that can make a difference. And that difference can be I can find action. Folks, faith is not inactive. Faith in God is not just something to take lightly. Faith is powerful. Faith is there. My faith can lead me to be the one to obey. And that obedience can lead to a place called salvation. Salvation can bring life. I can do great things. I am the one. I am the one who can do lasting things. Lasting things. You know, you think about, we were making some light comments about it, about the husband-wife relationship for a life. You are the one spouse. You're the one person for a life in the marriage relationship. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and they cleave unto his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. The oneness of it. The unity of it. I can be the person to do great things. I can be the person to do lasting things. I can be the person to do courageous things. It takes courage. It takes commitment. It takes courage. Are you the one? Think about the question. Oneness. Moses was the one that God chose Now, I don't want to go back and teach the whole Bible class. But Moses said, Lord, I can't do that. He offered excuses. Lord, I'm not eloquent to speak. Lord, what if they don't hear me? Lord, I can't do this. God says, you go, Moses, and I'll go with you. Every obstacle that Moses put forward, every excuse that Moses made, God had an answer for it. Moses is the one that God chose. When God makes the choice, you and I need to learn to follow. Where he leads, I will follow. We sing that song, where he leads, I will follow. Are you the one following Jesus tonight? You think about it. From the very time that Moses was born, God set a plan of motion. He saved Moses by putting him in a river. His mama raised him in Pharaoh's kingdom because it was a miracle from birth. God had chose Moses to make a difference. Folks, can we not make the difference tonight? I want you to leave here tonight thinking about it. Now, here again, I was hoping if the chart was working, there's a picture of a mirror on the chart. I want you to go home tonight. I want you to go into your house. And if it's a mirror in the hallway or a mirror in the bathroom or a mirror in the wherever, I want you to find a mirror and I want you to look straight in that mirror and I want you to say, I am the one that can serve God. In the morning when you get up and you go look in the mirror, whether you're shaving or putting your makeup on or whatever you're doing, I want you to remember this sermon and I want you to say, I am the one that can make a difference today. I don't want you to think about your spouse or your kids or your neighbor. I am the one, the single entity, the one that is responsible. I am responsible for where my soul spends eternity. God has done his part. He's not willing that any should perish. God sent his son to Calvary. God gave us the gospel. God gives us the Bible. My eternal destiny. We talked about heaven this morning in the sermon. I am the one that can determine where I spend eternity. I am the one. I am the responsible party. Folks, it'll change your day. It'll change it every day that I am the one. I want you to look in the mirror and say, who am I? I am the one that can do spiritual things. I can add to my life virtue, knowledge, temperance, patience, godliness, brotherly kindness, and charity. I am the one that can put on the fruits of the Spirit. I am the one that can pray. I am the one that can work. I am the one that can reach out. Folks, there's something you can do every day of your life that makes a difference. There is something that we can do every day of our life that makes a difference. A phone call, prayer, a gentle touch, a kind word. It may not be anything grandiose, it may not be anything big and elaborate. But when we think about it, I am the one. God gives us the ability, whether it's 1 talent or 5 talents. Let us learn to use it wisely. Let us return to him the things there. I am the one to be standing before God in judgment. I am the one that will stand before God in judgment. To give an account of all things done in this body, whether they be good, whether they be bad. I am the one to give answer before Christ for why I've done what I've done. I am the responsible party. If you think about it, I am the one loved by God. I am the one forgiven by God. I am the one that has been healed by God. I am the one saved by the gospel through grace. I am the one headed to heaven. I want you to think about, I am the one. We think about group activities. And group activity is important. I don't want to diminish the work of the group. I really don't. But this lesson is individual. I am the one. Am I the one to answer the call to duty? Perhaps you're the one that needs to hear the gospel. Perhaps you're the one that needs to respond to the gospel tonight. Folks, I don't know these things. But as I think about sermons, I think about things that I need in my life. I need to hear this. Andy, you are the one that Jesus died for. Andy, you're the one that God loves. Andy, you're the one that Jesus is coming back after. Are you ready? The lesson is yours. Are you the one tonight? I want you to leave this place thinking about this little lesson. And like I said, this was an Andy lesson. The one, the individual, none other than, the only one. I am the one that will serve God all the days of my life and hear the words, well done, thy good and faithful servant. If you need to be the one tonight to make your life right with God, there's no better time than right now. All things are ready. Will you be that person? I am the one. If I can assist you, which things folks have been said.